So speaking of community, you're involved in a whole bunch of them. So I feel like you're the perfect person to ask, what does community mean to you?
It's to me, community community is a place. It's a place to belong to, and it's a place to be empowered from. That place could be a church, a school, your local town, your sports program, a senior center, a beach association, right? The things I
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
mentioned. But I say a place. Yes, it's a physical place, but it's also a space. And it should be a space for ideas, for the exchange of ideas, a place and a space to debate and discuss, a place to think, right? I mean, of course, I'm a teacher, so probably you're thinking, wow, that sounds like a classroom, right? And it is. I mean, the classroom is a wonderful learning community, and it's space. In this case, yes, a learning community that offers a person, an individual, the power to act, to become involved in something bigger and broader than himself or herself.
Clearly, that's an example of community working. What are some other examples you've seen of community working?
Yeah, right, right. So, right, schools and classrooms, right? I mean, that to me is an ideal community. But a community can only work, I feel, if the people involved feel connected, right? So when they feel like they belong, when they're accepted, amongst the rest. I often use this line, there's no I in team. When I was a coach, the pronoun I must be interchangeable, if not replaced, by the pronoun we. So the group together knows where we are and where we're going, and then the individual becomes immersed in the group, is empowered, and can act on behalf of whatever positive cause there is. So to me, it's Beacon. To me, you brought me into
Mm.
this community of learners. We sit together on a board, and at a meeting we agree to disagree, but we all share the same goals, right? The new network.
All right, let's turn now to social media.
Mm.
What's your experience with social media?
I try not to immerse myself too much or too often, but just enough. And the truth is, because I was in education and a teacher, I had to become involved in social media. And I remember when it happened, it was during the Arab Spring, in the Middle East. And so many of my kids were so tech savvy, of course. So it was during, my school days in the Arab Spring when these revolutions were happening,
Mm.
via Facebook and Twitter. So I needed to get on board to learn with and to learn from my students on, how these people in Tunisia and Egypt and Libya were connecting to actually change their governments.
I love how this theme came up in the last podcast, and I swear I haven't prompted our guests to bring these things up, but Lori brought up Occupy and Standing Rock and Black Lives Matter, and you bring up the Arab Spring. I'm glad that these things keep coming up in connection to this project and connection to these questions because the reason I started this is because I see the incredible potential, the incredible organizing potential of social media. We've accomplished so much with it in spite of the fact that it's not designed for our own goals. It's designed to entertain and to make profits. To me, it's just like if we had a platform that was specifically designed to connect and
Mm.
organize, then, you know, imagine an Arab Spring organized not through tweets, but through like really well delineated, cohesive discussion forums and private message groups and working groups. And so I love that you were drawn to Twitter because of that. I love Instagram. I think the way you're using it is great. Sharing photos with friends and family. That's how it started. Facebook
Hmm.
blew up when they added the functionality of tagging people in photos. When I was in high school, you were so excited to take photos, and the next day just tag all your friends, and you had this photo album that you shared with all your friends. It was great, but we've come so far away from that now, where most of the things that you see on Instagram now by design of the algorithm, unless you're probably very careful about what connections you make and how you navigate on there, you're going to see a lot of content that comes from people you don't know. So speaking of like the goods and the bads, what is your perception of these platforms? When are they doing good and when are they doing bad?
They only feel good when they're connecting people. I mean, feel good to me. I love when people are sharing joy and positive stories and engaging people to donate time or donate money. Then you say, wow, this is what a great way to use social media, right? They feel bad when they disparage, when they're mean, when the tone is anything but positive. We see what social media has done. it enrages to engage. It wants to engage you in the rage. That's reciprocal and that's purposeful. You mentioned the algorithm before. We know how it works. I don't want to engage with any of these platforms to feel yucky. I want to use them to feel good and do good. So, yeah, that's my perception of them.